In this chapter, chapter 6, we are going to take what we already started doing in the way of object-oriented design in chapter 5 with methods and classes. And what we are going to do is move our development towards a more, frankly, modern design aesthetic, which is object-oriented design. So let's do this. I think this is like the typical advance and retreat kind of thing we do with books like this. We'll start diving into methods, and then we'll peel it back just a little bit. So, and this is going to look a little funky. I just can't record while I'm recording on my desktop here. So things we have to know is kind of the first place to start is the relationship between an object and a class. So last week, or chapter 5, that's probably more accurate. What we did was create classes that contain code that describe, and at the time we thought it described functionality, right? So we would have a student class, and we would have things like set student ID, get student ID, set S number, set email address, get S number, get email address, and things of that nature. So that's the way we used classes. It was really, we built them in as methods. Here in chapter 6, really what we're doing is we're adding this first part here. What we're saying, and let's get rid of that so we can see it. What we're saying is an object is something that you create. It's a one of that you create that, serves some specific function. And the way we describe that object is to use a class or classes that do what we did last week. So that class would contain the methods that, individually do one small portion of the overall job. But when we start putting them together, what we get is, a fully realized, fully functional object. So that's what we're going to look at here in chapter 6. What I'll tell you, the examples that we have are really going to focus on is, kind of clearly we're going to start with a step-by-step of writing a simple class. We'll talk a little bit more about instance fields and methods. We will talk about constructors because those are colossally important. We are going to pass objects as arguments, and we are going to overload methods and constructors. The rest of these, like packages and imports, we've been doing this all the while. That's actually where I'm going to start. In the next video, we'll talk a little bit about what we can do to import things that we've been doing. And then there's actually this case study, a class of, it's called amortization. And this is something we'll actually walk through, not with this chapter, but this case study moves throughout the text. So we're going to pick this up a little bit later on when it's a little bit more fully realized. So chapter 6 in total is going to be about our first steps in really, truly object-oriented design.